What's up, friends? Welcome to my channel where we're doing music covers, original music, album reviews, song reviews, reactions, a little social commentary here and there, whatever the day calls for. If you like what you see here, please subscribe to the channel. If you have content on here, I'll subscribe to you as well. I am all about supporting up-and-comers on here. It's been a very busy and tiring last couple of weeks. There's so many things that I wanted to do on this channel. I didn't get to do some album reviews I wanted to do where the time has kind of passed now. One of them being Techno from Electric Callboy. But if anybody has seen any of the past reviews I've done on songs from Darko, you would know already that I feel like this two-man project is running this genre right now. So far under their belt they have an EP that they broke out with called Death Mask. It's a very dark and brutal introduction to what was coming later, which is their self-titled album. These guys do a super brutal, chaotic, spastic form of deathcore and metalcore, and occasionally break into the post-hardcore foray. A little bit of post-rock, very moody, atmospheric pieces just kind of come out of nowhere amongst all the chaos. I actually pre-ordered this album and I wanted to wait until it got here to do this review because I wanted to really digest it, listen to it in the car, look at all the artwork that came with the album. But it's been out for a little bit now and it's still not here, and I wasn't waiting too much longer to listen to this thing. So one thing that really sets this band apart from the rest is how masterfully they are able to capture unsettling imagery and really get the dark feel in the music. Like, you'll have some of these death metal bands that'll just have all these gory music videos and just like all this gory artwork and stuff, and you just don't really feel the vibe because it just seems like they're just trying hard to be extreme. With what these guys do, it comes more naturally, more thought is put into it. The imagery of this project is every bit as much of a component to what makes this band work as the music itself. Let's get into it here. Track 1, Begin. It's just an intro. Of all their releases, this is their best sounding intro yet, in my opinion. A robotic voice lists all the songs for us that we're about to hear and lets us know that the next song is number 2, Looking Glass. Whereas the previous Darko releases had something more upbeat and spastic for its first actual song, they opt for more of a groove-heavy opener for this record, and it sounds great. Great use of eerie electronics, a stomping groove section that kind of reminds me of Slaughter to Prevail, something they would do on a couple of their more groove-heavy tracks. A more straightforward but super heavy version of Darko to start us off. Great track here. Number 3, Hyperkill. This song features Rio, formerly of Crystal Lake. Sadly, he left that group recently after being in the band for a long time. I'm not super familiar with all of Crystal Lake's discography, but I really got into their last album, Helix. All the vocals in this song are pretty layered and chaotic, so it took a couple listens for me to figure out where he was in this. He really is a great vocalist. This track kind of encapsulates what I thought, and what I think quite a few people thought the new lineup of Amur was going to end up sounding like, and you're going to hear me say this a lot during this review. Number 4, Dragon Chaser. This was a previously released track. It's not bad, but I never found it to stand out too much in their catalog of songs. Number 5, Rosaria's Fingers. This one features Kyle Anderson from Brand of Sacrifice, a band I'm not really too familiar with. I heard Brand of Sacrifice's collaboration with We Came as Romans, and it was pretty good. A little bit after the 2-minute and 10-second mark, there's an amazing Veil of Maya style start, stop, gent kind of riff. The new metalish groove aspect of their sound is way more prevalent on this release than any of the other ones. Number 6, Infinite Beauty. I had a feeling that we were going to be going into the more melodic aspect of their sound here. A lot of great sounding, clean singing, a lot of spacey Deftones vibes, and simple detuned guitars take us on a very trippy and enjoyable journey. It felt more like an interlude than a full song, but it was incredible nonetheless. Top track. Number 7, Evolving, featuring Shaylin G. I looked him up a little bit. I think he's like maybe a SoundCloud rapper or just a new school rapper. He didn't really bring anything noteworthy to this track, but it was a great track. The tempo change into the final breakdown really makes this one stand out and really makes it a banger. Number 8, RTGOB. I have no idea what that stands for. I tried to find it a little bit online. I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking it up, but super brutal track again. Great start-stop triplet riffing. Just a quick heavy banger I enjoyed a lot. Another top track. At this point in the album, these past 3 tracks were the most enjoyable to me. Let's keep it moving. Number 9, Gaunts. I've went back to this song a lot. The opening groove is so good. There's a clean vocal section here that's just incredible. It sounds like a cross between Deftones and the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. The grooves are crushing here. It's just more Darko greatness, more great use of electronics as well. And I really, really like the clean vocal section on this song. Probably one of the best clean vocal sections of this whole album. Number 10, Ani. This album's title track is one of the album's shortest listens. This track is just run on emotion. Thought-provoking lyrics, passionate clean vocals, and brilliant use of moody keys and electronics lead this track. Another home run by Darko. Number 11, Anna, featuring Taylor Barber of Left to Suffer, another deathcore band that I know very little about. I already did a review of this track when it was released, and I basically feel the same about it as I did then. It meanders a little bit in the middle and is a little bit long for what it accomplishes, but it's still a ton of fun, and that beginning marching groove is heavy as shit. Number 12, Sanskrit. This was a top track. All I gotta say is that at this point, you just really gotta love the sound to appreciate it. Around the 2-minute mark, there's a sweet polyrhythmic riff that had me headbanging. It's heavy as a ton of bricks, man. And once again, I'm just hearing the sound of something Amur could be doing, but isn't doing. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Top track. Number 13, Acid Inject. We already heard this one. Song sounds the most like their early work from the Death Mask EP. Chaotic, noisy, heavy, and gone before you even know it. Number 14, Come Home. I did a very thorough review of this song here on the channel already. This is the album's most melodic track. Rory Rodriguez from Dayseeker is a feature here. I just heard Dayseeker for the first time actually recently, and that first listen is on the channel if you want to check that out. His contributions in the middle of this song are not too far off from what I heard on the song that I listened to from Dayseeker, and it brings a Deftones-like vibe, and it's just so good. This song is incredible. It kind of serves as the Daniel of this album, but I like this song much more. There's so much of a melancholy atmosphere here. This is the album's longest track, and you never know it just by listening. It grips you so much that you just want it to keep going. It's a top track for sure, and it's basically the closer because the 15th track, Redo, is basically an outro, and it just kind of sounds like it's playing Come Home in reverse, and it's a very dark and eerie sounding way to close out a dark and eerie album. And a lot of the dark and eerie feels that you get all through this album with the electronic work is very reminiscent of some of the really dark bands from the nu metal era, but it's done so much better. On my first listen, I honestly wanted to declare Come Home the top track, and it's definitely one of the top tracks. If I was going to say like the top 3 tracks, Come Home, Gaunts is really good, and Sanskrit is really good. Maybe I'll make those 3 like my top 3. I would say my least favorite song is probably Dragon Chaser. I don't dislike it, but I just don't really feel like it brings anything to the table compared to the other songs we're hearing on here. Some of the lyrics just kind of come off a little awkward to me. But they didn't shy away from groove on the last one either, but this one, it's like it's on almost every song, like a bump and nu metal type groove. but done in such a heavier way. And a lot of that is also due to the production, which is top notch as always. It is not easy to get guitars that are tuned this low in a good spot in the mix. And I think this is a very worthy addition to their discography. A discography that is pretty much flawless at this point. Sometimes it's better when you only have one or two people in your project, because you can just kind of have a vision and just kind of do your vision and narrate it the way you want to narrate it and play it the way you want to play it. Like, I don't know if this is the best album I've heard all year, but it's definitely the heaviest album I've heard all year, and I knew it would be. So I'm going to give this album an 8.7 out of 10. Super enjoyable. I'm going to go back to it a ton. Maybe I'll say the last album, I felt a little bit more variety within the heavy tracks. Whereas a lot of the heavy tracks on this one are a bit samey. But like I said before, you just got to love the sound. If you love the sound, you're going to love this album. They don't really throw any super crazy changes at you. If you're a fan of their heavy sound, it's here. If you like their slower sound, it's here. All the eerie electronics and the darkness is here. It's all here, man. It's a great album. 8.7 out of 10. And that's all I really got to say about this one, guys. Thanks for watching.